Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. And today, we're going to play another little game of 1 in, 1 out. And I'm delighted to welcome back a good friend to the channel, Jay from Talking Chelsea. Jay, bro, how's it going, man?
I am good, my man. How are you?
Yeah, wicked, mate. It's I'm really enjoying being a Chelsea fan for the first time in what feels like a little while, to be completely honest.
Yeah. It's one of those times a year. We get it every single year. And it's the hopium, it's the copium, it's the fugazi of the transfer market. And we've got a new manager again because we seem to get one new every year. And it's just the what ifs, I think, that people just really enjoy. Obviously, things will change as the window goes on. But at the moment, we've got no reason to not be optimistic. So
no, 100%, man. And it's nice to have a manager that I actually believe in, and I'm not like, maybe he'll come good. Do you know what I mean? It's like Graham Potter was hope. Pochettino a little bit less, but you know, he didn't have the massive winning credentials. Maresca was hope. Liam Rosinia was hope. And finally it's like, oh, this guy's won something. That's exciting, isn't it? So yeah,
and not just won something, but done it as an invincible side. Like, you know, really took it to the max with a club that you wouldn't expect to do that, you know? So
do you know what I think was really interesting about that in particular as well is this isn't him going out and spending 50 mil on this player, 60 mil on this player. So like, obviously, you know, today is transfer related, the video we're going to talk about. But I find it fascinating that a lot of the Chelsea fans are like, I want a Victor Osimhen, or I want us to go out and get, you know, this guy for 100 million, this, that and the other. It's like, bro, Xabi Alonso turned these guys in. You know, Grimaldo was a Barcelona flop. Like, Jeremy Frimpong had been through a few different clubs. Granit Xhaka was a disgraced Arsenal player, sort of. Do you know what I mean? And he came and turned these guys into absolute world beaters. So that is something I'm really excited about. It's not just the players that we can bring in. It's A, what you can do with the squad that's already there, and B, I'm going to be excited about a 30, 40 mil player, because if he can do to them what he did to his guys in Leverkusen, then mate, things looking rosy, aren't they?
100%. And you're spot on. Look, one thing I've noticed, you know, we do the news every day. It started out being this squad needs surgery. It's going to be a complete rebuild. We need to offload a lot of players. And I think that we do need to offload a lot of players. But I don't think we're going to have a war chest to go spend 300-400 million. I think it's going to be key players and key positions that Alonso will work with the board and say, I need these profiles, I need these players for these positions, and we're good to go. I think he's coming at almost like the right time, if there ever is a right time, because it has been a circus, let's be real. We've been on fire for years. But in terms of him taking this role, I think he's the type of person to sit there, analyse things, think about it, and not just rush into a job. So he must have an idea himself of, right, I can take this group of lads, we can make a few tweaks here and there, and we can really go again. I think as much as it's painful to not have European football, I think it's going to benefit Xabi Alonso massively next season. And I think 100%. That even though I think the fans will buy into Xabi Alonso, and there's no reason not to, I also think there's a level of expectation and a level of pressure that is a lot more than what we had for Enzo Maresca and all the other managers, because we kind of knew where they were at. But with Xabi, it's you're playing less minutes than everyone in the league in terms of rivals. You have no excuse. It's one game a week plus the cups.
Yep.
So we're expecting magic. But I like I said, it's an exciting time. It's just so different. We haven't got to put up with Liam Rosinia and the downfall of that. You know, we're starting to hear murmurs of this whole compensation package of Maresca going to City and stuff. That's still kind of dragging it a little bit from January, but that's basically done. It's almost like fresh leaf, and I keep saying this on my channel, it's last chance saloon for these owners this season. They have to get this right. And they've started well by appointing the perfect manager for the job in terms of who is the best available. And now we've got to see what happens in the market.
I think you hit on something absolutely spot on there as well. It's like, we're not going to see this well, there might be a bit of an exodus because we need to thin the squad out because there's no Europe as well, so we don't
100%.
Need as many players as we got. So I do still expect to see a reasonable amount of outs, but we don't need to buy 10 players like we've done every single window for the last or summer window at least for the last 3 years or whatever. We keep injecting all of these players into the squad, and that is what's making it really, really difficult. So I think it's kind of a blessing in disguise, really, where it's like, 3 or 4 players added to the first team might not make us title challengers, but it will improve the squad to the point where the next window, maybe in January, we buy 3 or 4 players now, and then we get 6 months in and it's like, right, do you know what? We actually need this. Maybe we get 1 player in January that actually upgrades the squad as well. So,
For sure.
like I say, I think it's a bit of a blessing in disguise. And on the subject of players going out, players coming in, let's play our little game today of 5 in and 5 out. So, Jay, I want you to start with, so you got to give me 5 players that you want to leave and who you want to replace them with. Who is your first player out and who would you like to replace him with?
See, this is very difficult because it's 5 in, 5 out, and my out list is massive compared to the in list. And it's not me being horrible. I just think it makes sense. We've got so many players, and there's still a lot on this list that I haven't added that I've probably forgotten about that are still knocking around the club somewhere. But I think for me, the first one to go, who I would swap with, is I would say Liam Delap.
Okay.
And I don't want to be too harsh on the guy. I've said this on my channel a lot this season. I've really held off in terms of just throwing the bricks at him. I think he plays like a scaffolder. And he's been injured. He's been inconsistent. I just look on the surface. In my lifetime, he is the worst Chelsea striker I've seen. I live through Matthias Kesman, who's a little bit older, still had a better goal ratio. Liam Delap scored 2 goals, 1 in the league, in 41 appearances. And I understand he's been injured. I really do. And reports today suggesting he wants to fight for his place. He wants an extra season to prove people wrong. And I like that about a player. I like that about a player. Disasi said something similar while he was in the bomb squad. And I rate that. I respect it. It says a lot about the person. I genuinely don't think he's going to get the opportunity to prove himself. I think if an offer comes in, he's got enough interest with Bournemouth, Everton, Newcastle, floating around. I think Chelsea offload him. But the in place of Liam Delap, I don't know whether this is a bit of a cheat or not. It's more of a keep than it is an in, but I would replace him with Nicholas Jackson. That's who I would go for. He's coming back from his loan. He's gone and won trophies in the Bundesliga, albeit you can argue whether how much he's contributed to it or not. He's been part of a winging culture. He's been playing alongside, Elise and Kane and all these world-class players, being in that environment. He's, reports have said that, him leaving Chelsea was in the summer was mainly, 1, being forced out, but 2, his relationship with Maresca just deteriorated. He's no longer there. A lot has changed.
In the red cards he was getting towards the end of that season.
You could see he just didn't care. And it was like he wasn't buying into the manager's system or whatever. Look, that's all gone and done now. At the end of the day, he will be returning to Chelsea this summer window. And the talks are that Xabi Alonso is going to use him in the pre-season to kind of see if he can be utilised. Now, for me personally, I think you can utilise him in a myriad of positions. I think he can be that number 9 in rotation with João Pedro. I think he can play off that left-hand side like he originally started as a winger. Unai Emery obviously converted him to a 9. But I think he's got very unique qualities as a player. He's ball carrying, he's link-up play, he's hold-off play. It's exceptional. It's a winger that, is meant to score goals, but playing centrally mainly. And we know it's frustrating in terms of, the chances he misses, and he did one for Senegal the other day, Blair one over the bar. But in the same game, he created a goal as well. He's very hit and miss in that sense. I'm fully aware of that. But in terms of the finances, we haven't got to spend a penny. He's already on the books. We're already contributing to his wages. He's just returning from loan, and he can play in a versatile amount of positions. So that's who I would swap. Originally, the plan was we get rid of Jackson and upgrade with Delap. Unfortunately, it's not worked out. So we just reversed the decision. And I don't think it's that hard to do.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, to be honest, man. I agree with you on the Liam Delap thing. I think I don't even necessarily blame Liam Delap for it. Liam Delap was bought not because of the profile of he is as a player, it's because it was a good market opportunity. He was a young English player that had a relegation clause that had they have stayed up and he'd have been part of that, he'd have gone for 40, 50 mil. We got him
100%.
At the time at a snip. Obviously, in retrospect, it wasn't a snip because he has 15 mil a goal.
Which is wild.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? But at the same time, for me, he doesn't fit the profile of a possession-based team, really. And I know what some people will say is Xabi Alonso had Victor Boniface. Victor Boniface was not totally dissimilar from Liam Delap, But Victor Boniface was scoring more than 2 goals in a season in 41 appearances. I know he's been injured and stuff, but it's not just that, man. Like, I think the thing is, and this is going to be the case with a lot of the players, that it would be nice to keep. We have to push on. We can't go into next season with like 4 or 5 players being like, we'll give you another shot, we'll give you a chance.
What ifs? And I completely agree with you about Jackson as well. Now, this is one that some of the guys in my comments have been a little bit polarised about, but personally, I'm fully on board.
For me, a strike force of João Pedro is your main guy who can play multiple positions. Emmanuel Omega coming in, and Jackson. So the issue I always had with Jackson, and it wasn't even necessarily his fault, he never had competition at Chelsea, ever. You know, Cole Palmer, to a large extent, has been exactly the same. They've come in, had relatively good seasons, and been completely unchallenged. So when they've dropped off form, they've still been getting game time because they've still been our best, if not only, option. So the idea of João Pedro being the main man, with Jackson being able to play wide positions and depth in the number 9 as well, and Emmanuel Omega nipping at both of their heels because he's desperately going to want game time.
Healthy competition.
Yeah, 100%. It all works for me, man. I think Jackson, I think it's interesting. I don't necessarily know how much they're connected, but Cole Palmer hasn't looked the same since Jackson left either, has he? To be completely honest.
I find it strange because they definitely had a unique link up, and you could see that. They worked very well together. It becomes telepathic at times.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, you've seen that similar connection with João Pedro, albeit a little bit different, but still having that good link up. So I think from Palmer's perspective, having both of those players being able to play with them, whether it is in rotation or together, depending on how it is, I think frees him up a lot more. Because he knows how Jackson plays and how they connect. He knows how João Pedro likes the ball, delivered in behind. I think with Chelsea trying to have this fluid front 4, you can have João Pedro as the 9, as the 10. You can have Jackson as the 9. You can have him on the left. You can have Palmer as the 10. And I know that João Pedro wants to be the 9, and he's 29 GA this season. He's established as our main 9. He's more of a complete forward than I think a lot of people are, because he can play with, the types of finishes he has. It's so creative. He can blast one top corner. He can chip the keeper from close range. He can also... you can score headers as well, which is something we massively lack in this squad.
100%.
But his link-up's great as well. So, for me, it just makes sense. It ticks a lot of boxes.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I love that one. Totally down. And like I say, for Liam Delap, I feel kind of bad for him because I just feel like he needs to go to... Like, if we'd have got Iraola, I think he'd have had a better chance because that had probably have suited his style a little bit more. But I think going in with, albeit Victor Boniface also did play in a possession-based team, I just think when you look at João Pedro, you look at Nicholas Jackson, who's also a versatile forward, you look at Emmanuel Omega, who also is a versatile forward, similar to Jackson. He drifts out wide, he gets assists as well. Do you know what I mean? I think Omega, before he got injured, in 11 games, had 7 goals and 4 assists. Do you know what I mean? So he had like 11 GA in 11 games before he got injured at the start of the season. He's a bit of an all-rounder as well. We've got 3 strikers that are of a similar profile, and I think that throwing Liam Delap into there, if he stays, he just won't get any game time anyway. So, completely agree with that. Absolutely love that. Who is your next out, and who would you like to replace him with?
So there is a myriad of centre-backs I'd like to get rid of at Chelsea. All right? But I'm going to pick one for one to play by the rules. So I'm actually going to pick Wesley Fofana.
Okay.
I could have gone Badiashile, could have gone Disasi, could have gone Tosin. The list goes on. But I'm going to go with Wesley Fofana for 2 reasons. One, I had stocks in Wesley Fofana for the longest time. Yeah. I rated him so much. And last season, when you had that partnership of Colwell and Fofana, I think it was the first 8 games of the season, week by week, you could see this partnership forming, developing, getting better. You could see it was going to be, that was like the main partnership, right? And then, it might have been the season before when Fofana gets injured. And then at the end of Club World Cup, then Levi Colwell gets injured. So we've never really seen a full season of those 2 playing together. It just drips and drabs, right? However, Fofana's been injured for consistent periods. This season he's been mainly fit, which I do respect. It shows he can get over that hurdle. His performances have just been so subpar. And I know that a lot of our squad have been subpar, especially under the Rossini era. It was everything was on fire. I'm not saying that everyone else gets away with it on scot-free, but I just think we're paying Wesley Fofana £200,000 a week, and I don't think he's playing to the level that justifies that.
No,
I don't blame him. The reports are conflicting. Chelsea are open to a sale, But Fofana wants to sit put. Of course he does. He wants to run his contract down, get him paid a bag, and I don't blame him for that.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to offload him because of those wage demands. But I think if we can do that and bring in someone like Ousmane Diamonde, that's when things really change. Because he, for me, ticks all of the boxes you need to partner someone like Levi Colwill.
Okay.
Good in the air, good defensive IQ, good standing tackles, sliding tackles, good with the ball, physical presence, disciplined. I just think he's a massive upgrade, and I think he's actually very gettable this summer window for Chelsea. We've been linked with him a lot. So have United, so have Arsenal, so have all the top European teams. But Chelsea do stand a good chance of bringing someone like him in who is still young but experienced. He was spoken about, when Gyökeres was obviously going to Arsenal, he was in them conversations then. It's been another season where he's still kicked on and done very well. I would replace him in a heartbeat. I really would. And some people might watch my content too, and they've had a go at me because I say I'll take everyone in a heartbeat that's not part of our squad. But genuinely, I would sign him yesterday. I think it makes the most sense. You look at all these other centre-backs, Bastoni isn't going to come as much as I love him. The wages, the fee is going to be heavy. All these other centre-backs too. There's a couple others on my list that I still would like to bring in and talk about in this video, but for me, Ousmane Dembele would be my number one target. And have him next to Colwill, I think it'd be unreal.
Diamonde.
Yeah.
You said Dembele.
Sorry, I keep saying that. I keep even saying it in my own videos. Diamonde is what I'm trying to say.
So I definitely agree with Wesley Fofana. 100%. I think the thing Wesley Fofana, I think, is just unhappy. So I get what you're saying. Like, I haven't seen any of the news, and obviously you're the news guy. Do you know what I mean? You're definitely more clued up on it than I am. But I haven't seen anything yet about him saying he wants to stick around. I do remember, I think it was last summer, we were talking about loaning him or selling him to Marseille because that's where he's from. And I do, there was a whole thing in the FA Cup final when Man City was celebrating with their trophy. He tried to drag a load of the players away from it. And Cole Palmer, bit of a problem in the dressing room as much as not being amazing on the pitch and obviously getting silly cards and stuff as well. So yeah, 100% agree about Fofana out. How easy he is to sell, that's a question all of its own. Because
I just think the wages will be the biggest thing. That guy's got more points on his driving licence than Chelsea got in the league last year. So I just think he's a problem on and off the pitch. Personally,
Diamonde I know a little bit about. I've not followed him really, really heavily. I do worry. I mean, I guess he's like Champions League level footballer because Sporting were in the Champions League last season, weren't they? Personally, as far as the centre back goes, I would like to go for a Premier League centre back if possible, and I think there might be a few available. My pick is Van Heck. I've seen that. Tottenham have just had like a 70 mil bid turned down for him though, and he's only got like 1 year or 2 years left on his deal, so maybe we do get priced out of that one, which would be a shame because he was so good last season. But you are right about Diamonde as far as a profile. He's young, he's experienced, he fits the profile of the kind of player we're looking for. I'd be a little bit hesitant about getting a Sporting player to come into the first team. I think if we there's been talks, obviously recently it's come out and been like Bluco will buy a 27, 28 or 29-year-old if the right thing. If we're going to get an older player, I would like it to be the centre-back. I feel like, Marquinhos is available at the moment and he's supposedly going to leave PSG. Like, if we're going to get an older player, centre back is the role that I would like to fit him in for. But you can never really wipe out. I mean, we've got a good relationship with Sporting, obviously Quenda and Dario Asugo. So if it wouldn't be too expensive, and we do get that experienced centre back, maybe if we do shift Tosin and Badiashile and all these other guys as well, I like the idea of him coming in. I'll need to look into him a little bit more. Either way, though, good shout. So Wesley Fofana, I'm 100% with you on. Diamonde, I will need to do a little bit more research. Guys, if you know anything about Diamonde, let us know in the comments. Let me know in the comments because Jay knows more about him than I do. Is he the kind of guy you'd like to see in the squad next season? And while we're taking a little break, please do me the distinct honour of liking and sharing the video, subscribe to mine or Jay's channels, or just roast me, not Jay, because he's sound, in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. Right, so roast Jay...
Roast me if you want. It's all good.
Roast him if you want. In fact, do you know what? Exclusively roast Jay and leave me alone for a day.
Just for a day. Yeah, leave me alone.
Just for a day. Right. So far, Liam Delap out, Jackson in, which I like because I agree with that. I get what you're saying. It's like more of a keep than an in, but it's not, you know, it's not in stone yet, is it? So I do agree with that he adds a lot to the squad for no money, which is cool. And Wesley Fofana out for Diamonde of Sporting Lisbon. So who's your third out, and who would you like to replace him with?
I'm looking at my list of outs to pick to then use the in with. So I'm going to go one that I think that does split the fan base right now. And even when I say this, it splits me too, but I kind of like the idea of it as the window is approaching, is actually Marc Cucurella. Okay. And I don't want to get rid of him, but it looks like he will be leaving. Yeah. And I'm trying to come to terms with that. Atletico are interested, Barca are interested, City are supposedly, Madrid supposedly are interested. This guy, I absolutely love Cucurella, and I'll be the first to hold my hands up. When we first signed him, I could not stand him for the first 6 months. I thought he was Bambi on ice. If it was awful, we overspent on him. Once he got his feet, he's been one of the most consistent, hard-working left-backs in the world for the last couple of seasons. He's not really had a break. Back-to-back seasons, Club World Cup, winning a Euros in between that. Guy just keeps going, and he's always available. However, coming to the terms that he's probably going to be leaving in the summer, I'm kind of just trying to, I don't know, make it easier on myself. The player I would get in to replace him is Lewis Hall, which I know sounds a bit backwards.
No,
because we sold him a few years ago.
No,
which makes no. And at the time, I was very angry about that. A lot of fans were, because hang on a minute, when he did play, he was fantastic. Yeah, and I know that we needed to get profit and spreadsheets and all that. I get it, right? So it looks a bit backwards, going back with our tail between our legs and paying more money to bring him in.
We made a pretty penny for him, to be fair, didn't we?
What's that? Sorry.
We made a pretty penny for him, though, didn't we, to be fair?
32 million we sold him for.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, and we're going to have to spend more than that to bring him back. So 100%. I understand the transaction at the time, but emotionally as a fan, I was like, oh, we've let go of a really good one. And this season, Lewis Hall has been unbelievable. Like Champions League, being that wing back, inverting when needed, just being in a back four, whatever is needed of him, he's done it to a very high standard. And again, it depends what you believe about the reports, but he's, you know, exploring other options this summer. I think he could go for big money. Maybe Chelsea have some sort of buyback clause. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I think he'd be the most natural fitting replacement for Cucurella. I know he's a Newcastle fan. He's homegrown, which obviously counts. He's been in the environment and, you know, come through the ranks. I think it makes the most sense. Obviously, we have Joel Hatto too. So I think Joel Hatto is very versatile. He could be the left side centre-back. He can also be the left-back. I've said this many a times. I think the drop-off currently between Cucurella and Hatto is too big. And you need to kind of have a smaller gap if you are going to lose someone for big money like Cucurella. Chelsea have slapped a £60 million valuation on him. That's basically what we paid for him. The accountants in the comments can do the amortization, all that stuff. But, you know, it is what it is. I think Lewis Hall coming in, you've got a very healthy competition between the drop-off is still there from Cucurella, at least immediately, but we can close that gap with some healthy competition between Hatto and Hall. I think they could both do a fantastic job out there.
Love that. Cucurella, I feel exactly the same way as you. I will be devastated. And not an if, when. I feel like it's nailed on. We're starting to see amounts of money. We're starting to see Atletico Madrid want to pay 43 mil, but we value him at 60. Like, this is when things start to feel a bit more real for me. It's like when you start seeing amounts of money being thrown around. But at the end of the day, he has been a consummate professional for the most part. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, he's not been great, but even when he came out and spoke out against Bluco, he didn't do it in a silly way. He came out and was pointed, eloquent, and just laid it on the table why things have been difficult. And I respect and appreciate that. And I'll be devastated to see him go because I just don't think there's any other players like him. I think he is very, very exclusively Marc Cucurella. He's so versatile. He can score goals. He can play left back, left wing back, left centre back. He can play in midfield. He's funny as well. I've seen him in some of like the little Chelsea content things they do, like when they cook together and do little challenges and stuff. And like, he's just a really, really nice guy. I bet he's great to have around the dressing room. But
I can imagine.
He's being linked with all these massive Spanish giants. He won the Euros with Spain. It's the home. He's a La Masia graduate. Do you know what I mean? Like he's
also coming into the prime years of his footballing career.
100%.
If he looks at Chelsea, as much as he loves the club or whatever, I don't know. Obviously, you know the inner workings of that, but he must be looking at it going, "No Europe for another year.
Yeah.
I'm coming into my prime.
Yeah.
This is the chance for me to go get a big contract and go compete for things. Now, 100%. Look, he had 2 years left on his deal. Now it's being reported he's got 3. So he must have taken some sort of extension with his pay rise in the summer. No one's really said anything about that. It's kind of been swept under the rug.
Yeah,
so I don't know. Chelsea feel relaxed about it. Don't have to sell him.
No.
But again, they've slapped an evaluation. So I think what will happen is Atletico will try and stiff us a little bit, and Barca eventually will sell some players and come in and pay the asking price. Because when they got money, it burns a hole in their pocket. Look what they did with Gordon. No one expected that, and that come out of nowhere. So I don't want to see him go either, but I just think it's going to happen, which is going to be sad. But
but vis-a-vis Lewis Hall, I don't think there's many options with Premier League experience or of the kind of level. The only other in my head, Valentin Barco's coming in, especially if we do play 3 at the back. I think he'll play that left wing back role quite well. I know he's been playing midfield almost exclusively for the last season at Strasbourg, but he's a versatile player that can play that position as well. There's Maxi Araujo from Sporting Lisbon as well. He's a little bit older, but again, I don't want to load the team with Sporting Lisbon players, but he does actually look really good. But my first choice would be Lewis Hall, 100%. If we had to get a new left back, Lewis Hall is a Newcastle fan, but an academy boy, one of our academy boys. So he knows the club, and I don't mean that in terms of like it will necessarily make him better. It just means his adaptation period will be much shorter. Do you know what I mean? Because it won't be like we've got him from like bringing Esteval from Brazil isn't the same as getting Lewis Hall from obviously Esteval's ceiling is much higher, but he's from up the road at the moment, and he's also been here before. He knows the score. He's gotten into the first team a couple of times. And for me, absolutely wild that Livramento's gone to the World Cup and Lewis Hall hasn't, like crazy to me. But he's been fit. He's a couple of goals and assists across all competitions. He's been good in the Champions League. It will cost 40-45 mil probably.
Mate, I think if I'm being honest, it'd be more than that. I really do. I think it'll be similar money. There's a couple of Newcastle fans arguing in my comments when I did a video when we were linked to him, and they were like, "You lot are joking. I mean, you think you're going to get him for less than 55 million? Like, we're going to want to make money," and he has been really good. And do you know what? Fair play to him. Fair play. I think that we'll probably spend the Cucurella money on him. I think it will probably be fairly similar, if it is to happen. But
it does make sense though. And I guess, to be honest, I didn't expect Anthony Gordon to go for 70 mil either. So already, they're after the Isaac stuff last year and how much they got fleeced for Waltermada and Visser, they're obviously playing hardball a little bit this year, and fair play to him, because there's probably going to be a lot of teams.
Unless they want to take Delap, then we can work something out. Do you know what I mean? I'll drive him there myself.
I'll tell you what, it's like, give us Lewis Hall for 40 and you can have Delap for 25, or you can have Delap for 50 and we'll pay 55 for... Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I totally agree. It's not a want to see Marc Cucurella out for me at all, but it does just feel like with each passing day at the moment, it's feeling more nailed on. The Atletico Madrid stuff, Barcelona obviously really going big in the transfer market this window so far. I don't see City. I'm finding it a bit nauseating how every single Chelsea player that played under Enzo Maresca is being linked to Man City now, and I'm like, mate, they ain't even going to get that. I don't think they'll keep Haaland. I don't think they'll keep Rodri. Bernardo Silva's already on his way out.
Well, Bernardo Silva makes sense. He's getting on a bit in terms of footballing age. I think it's a dark cloud over City at the moment. Pep's leaving, Maresca's going in. They're going to get the results of the charges.
Haaland is not looking at Maresca and going, I'm one of the best strikers in the world and you're the guy to take me to the next level. The guy that could barely get a tune out of João Pedro. And if Liam Rosinia did a better job with João Pedro than Maresca did, do you know what I mean? So no. But either way, that's a rant for a whole nother time. Marc Cucurella out and Lewis Hall in. Yes, again, I agree with that. I think that's smart. And like I say, it's not because I think either of us don't. I would ideally keep Cucurella. I'd rather keep Cucurella than get Lewis Hall in. But it does start to feel nailed on, and it does feel like we need to start justifying it to ourselves that it's probably going to happen. So that's 3 down, 2 to go. Who is your 4th player out, and who would you like to replace him with?
Spin this wheel and see what it lands on. We'll go for another defender, because you touched on it a little bit earlier in terms of experienced Premier League defenders. So I will go with Badiashile. Boot him out. Don't know how he's still here. Just get rid of the guy. Again, I'll drive him to wherever you need me to take him. I'll pay for the fuel. I'll give him a meal. He'll arrive happy and content. Get rid of Badiashile. The guy's awful. He looked great for 8 games, then got injured, and now he's just shell of a man. And I've really tried to buy back into Badiashile, and I find that it's appearance out of, say, I don't know, 30, that he's half decent, and you think, oh, there's a bit of a
It was
player
Liverpool
there.
this season, wasn't it? Like he had one half decent game
what
against
a cameo
Liverpool.
he made. Do you know what I mean?
Brilliant.
He was fantastic. But then the next game he'll make 3 mistakes, and you're like, oh, great, Badiashile's back. To replace him, and you had to correct me on this before the video because my pronunciation is awful. I hope I say this right. Would be Lacroix.
Yeah, nice.
Right, cool.
You got to hock that R a little bit, Lacroix. But yes, Crystal Palace love that.
Yeah, I think he's a fantastic defender. He's experienced. He's a leader. He's winning trophies now. Again, aerial presence, just good defensive IQ. Massive upgrade on someone who can partner Levi Colwill because at the moment, you got Chalobah, you got Fofana, you got Tosin. I don't know how this guy's still there. And again, this is why I'm saying I'm trying to keep this fair as a 5 in 5 out, but there's so many players we need to get rid of. And there's so many easy targets to go for. Trying to keep it a little bit interesting. I just think he comes in and he is that Premier League starting defender to go next to Colwill. And again, someone that this may sound silly, but someone that other players can lean on and learn a little bit more from. I'm not saying he's a Thiago Silva or anything like that, but he is that little bit older, and he will have been in more difficult positions playing for a club like Palace, and also tasting recent success with the FA Cup, the Community Shield, now the Conference League. I think it makes the most sense. 100%. I just think it makes the most sense.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think Benoît Badiashile, it's just a weird one, isn't it? And do you know what the mad thing is? It feels like he's been here forever, and he's only like 23 years old. So Badiashile might still represent potential to another club, which means we won't necessarily sell him for pennies. I'm not saying we'll get
any other club. He's the best. He's going to be the best left-sided centre-back the world's ever seen, mate. Come pick him up.
Guarantee.
You can get an absolute steal of a price. 25 million, he's yours.
Yeah, and I just think with him, it's lack of character for me with Benoît Badiashile. He's a big guy, but he comes across a bit timid and a bit like, oh. He's always putting that face, and he like, I did something
I know
wrong.
exactly what you mean.
He always looks like he's just done so like a dog that you've caught chewing your cables or something. Do you know what I mean? He's always like,
it's like a deer in headlights all the time.
Yeah.
Is.
And the thing is as well, like he represented a great option because he's such a good passer, and it's really interesting with him because he doesn't make a huge amount of passes, but his accuracy is really, really good in general. He's actually pretty good with a long ball as well. But, mate, it's just. I
just don't think his defensive IQ is quite where it needs to be defensively.
Not for this level of pressure.
Exactly, and also I just don't think, and maybe it's a bit harsh. I don't know. The comments will let us know. I don't think it is personally. One, he's always injured around transfer window, which is very convenient. But two, it's very, very convenient. But two, I just don't think he's fully recovered from that first injury, and I don't think he ever will. And that's just the reality. I think he can get to a certain level, and I just don't think that's what Chelsea need. I just don't think that's what we need.
It's a weird one as well, isn't it? Because I think he's technically been fit for ages now, but he's not even getting on the bench.
Can't get in the game. He can't get game time. So that if Liam Rosenior isn't picking you, then there's a problem. Do you know what I
mean? Yeah, man. Yeah, so that's a good one. Benoît Badiashile out. Lacroix, yeah, you kind of summed it up all really well. Like, it's wild to think Lacroix has won 3 trophies in the last 2 seasons. And how old is he, by the way? Do you know?
I think he's 27. Please don't grill me. I think he's about 27, 28 off the top of my head. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, no, and that makes sense to me. And like I say, if we're going to get an older player, centre-back is 100% the place I would like it to be. I would be okay with us getting a Diomande in if we get a Lacroix or a Van Heck or someone like that, do you know what I mean? Or a Marquinhos, kind of best case scenario, I guess.
The way I look at it is with the centre-backs, to touch on that, I totally agree. Because there's so many we need to offload, there is squad spaces available. So in my mathematics head, which is not very good, I look at it and go, you can get a Lacroix, you can go get a Diomande, you're sorted. You've still got Achampong, who needs to get game time. You've still got all these other centre-backs in rotation, Mamadou Sarr and stuff. So it's a bit of a juggling act, but I think that squad spaces are still there.
Yeah, I think it's good as well, because if we do play the 3 at the back, Reece James is great at the right centre-back role and can also play in midfield and stuff as well. So, you know, it would be good to have lots of options, but I feel like I like the idea of Lacroix and Levi Colwill. I think that would be a solid partnership, really good. Levi Colwill is technically very gifted, really, really good passer and stuff, and Lacroix is definitely much more of like an astute defender. I really, really like that one. So before we get into your final pick, we'll just sum up. Delap out, Jackson back, Wesley Fofana out, Diomande in, Cucurella out, Lewis Hall in, and Benoît Badiashile out, and Ousmane Diomande from Sporting Lisbon in.
Oh, no, the last one was Lacroix.
Lacroix, sorry, I just said the same name twice.
Okay.
Yeah, you
That's a lot off the top of your head, to be fair.
Hocked your arm, mate. Hocked your arm.
Trying to get
So for the final, I guess it has to be an attacking player, right? It feels like an attacking player or a midfielder.
Yeah.
Who is your final out, and who would you like to replace him with?
I'm gonna twist things up. Can you guess who it may be? It is an attacking player. Who would you take a wild guess at as who is left on my list?
Alejandro Garnacho.
Bingo! Do you know what I mean? Got it in one there. Alejandro Garnacho. Now, look, I've been grilled on my own channel for weeks about Garnacho, and I will always say that there are receipts and there are other videos. Go back to last summer. My view has never changed. My view is we didn't want that signing. It was a market opportunity. However, what I've always said, and again, the receipts are there, I will back any Chelsea player until they give me a reason not to. Yeah. Now, I am not saying that Garnacho has given me a reason not to. I just feel like it hasn't worked out for him. He caused a big stir to get that move to Chelsea, which means he arrived at Chelsea unfit, which then put a delay on his season. Now, when you look at his statistics, his return in GA is 0.5, which is 1 in every 2 games. You think that's really, really good. But he's not getting game time. No. And you could probably count the good performances on one hand. I'm not trying to throw bricks at the guy. I'm really not. I just don't think he is the player. When we say that the squad needs to move on, I don't think he is the winger to do that. Yeah, okay. You can make the argument for Jamie Gittins, but I think he's been protected a lot because he's just torn his hamstring. I think it'd be really unfair for a guy who's got inconsistent minutes, new to the league, still should be developing at Dortmund, in my opinion. He's been fast-tracked, which isn't his fault. And now he's just had a big injury. I think he's going to be here for next season at least. Chelsea spent a lot of money on him. Yeah, it's a bit of a different situation. For Garnacho, it was, a lot of fans even said, well, it's a win-win. We buy him for 40 million. If it don't work out, we sell him for 40 million. It is what it is. I even maybe make some more money.
22 as well, man. Do you know what I mean? It's, he's still so young.
Yeah,
and again,
he's got Premier League experience. He's an international footballer. We're just not seeing the consistent performances. Some people make the argument that he doesn't beat his man enough. And my interjection to that is that's not the type of winger he is. He never has been that type of winger. So the frustration levels get heightened in that sense. And look, I get frustrated with him a lot. I think there is a player there, but we are not at the stage where there is a player there. It's at the stage of he goes in and does a job consistently across the season. Maybe I'm being too harsh. I don't know. We'll let the comments decide. But for me, this is going to be a strange one, but I will explain it. My in would be Jared Bowen. Okay. That would be my in terms of Garnacho. Now, I know that Bowen plays on the right and Garnacho's a left winger. So that's why I want to explain. Okay. When it comes to the wide players, we've got Quenda coming in, who I feel is going to have a duplicate season to how Esteval was this season. Bit part player, adjusting to the league and the intensity of the Premier League, etc. Hopefully he stays injury-free and gets more minutes that way. We've got Pedro Neto, who I think could be sold but could also stay. And he can also play the left or the right. We've got Esteval, who could play right. We've seen him on the left as well. Palmer, who could play on the right. Seen him on the left as well. We've got a myriad of players. Now, you may argue that a lot of them are left-footed, and I didn't realise that until Matt pointed that out before we started recording, but it is what it is now. I'm going with it. And a lot of people have argued. I did a video on Jared Bowen a few days ago, and I really just tried pitching my case because people keep telling me he's washed, he's not good, and I just can't believe it. He's 29 years old. He's the talisman for West Ham. And yes, I know they're relegated. You can't use it against him all the time. The whole team would die, all right? However, he's Mr. Clutch. And you look at the last 3 seasons in the Premier League only, so just the league, this guy's returning 20 GA in the league consistently. And there is an opportunity that Chelsea could go grab him for £40 million off of a relegation side. Now, some people have argued it's too much because he's 29. And I would agree. If it wasn't for player inflation. £40 million seems like a steal. We paid £40 million for Garnacho. And you can pay the same amount of money for an experienced Jared Bowen who's got you 60 GA in the last 3 seasons. For me, it's a no-brainer. He could play as a 9 if needed. He could play on the right-hand side. He wouldn't be a starting 11 player for me. He would be more of a squad rotation player, someone who is there for experience, who has a slightly different profile, who can come off the bench and actually change the game. You're not looking at the bench and saying, we've got 5 centre-backs and an academy player. You go, we've got Jared Bowen on there. We can bring him on because he's a different profile. He's not scared to beat his man, and he's Mr. Clutch with his moments. He can bag an assist, could bag a goal. So that's who I would have the out for in. So I know it doesn't make sense like for like, but I'm just thinking of the wide players we have in general. I think you could still fit him in.
So I agree, Garnacho out. I think Garnacho, very similar to Liam Delap, market opportunity rather than what Maresca wanted or needed at the time. I also convinced myself that I thought Garnacho might do it. I wasn't into it when I started hearing about it. Then I looked into him and was like, do you know what? Man United have dropped positions every single season and he keeps getting more and more GA. So I think there's something there. It's not turned out that way. We need to sell one of a couple of our attacking players. We can't be having Garnacho and Jamie Gittins both rotting on the bench next season if we do buy someone else. As far as Jared Bowen goes, I really like him, and you make a great case. Like, he's not washed. He's a great player. My thing is we are so stocked in the positions that he's best at playing, and I get what you're saying. Like, Pedro Neto can play on the left, Giovanni Quenda can play on the left, but I think that in itself is part of the problem that we've been facing for a while. We keep playing Pedro Neto on the left despite having Garnacho and Jamie Gittins available and fit when we did, because he was the best option. Rather than putting someone there because he's the best option, I feel like if we're going to get a left-sided attacker, we need to get a left-sided attacker, and it needs to upgrade that spot, because ever since Hazard left, really, Pulisic, Mudryk, Garnacho,
I forget Mudryk exists.
Jamie Gittins, do you know what I mean? Is like our left side has. Now, don't get me wrong. Like Pulisic had in Project Restart under Frank Lampard. Like Pulisic scored like 9 goals in the half season or whatever, and he was
lockdown.
Phenomenal.
Pulisic was unreal,
unbelievable. But got very injury prone, and we haven't had a solid standard left winger, left sided attacking player for like even before Blue Coat now. Do you know what I mean? So we're talking 5, 6, getting on 7 years since we've had a good left-sided attacker. So my reticence for Jared Bowen isn't that I don't think he's good enough. It's that our striker situation could well be, and as of right now, our striker situation is João Pedro, Emmanuel Omega, Nicholas Jackson and Liam Delap. Our right wing situation, as of right now, is potentially Esteval Willian, Pedro Neto, Giovanni Quenda, Cole Palmer, all of which also who are left footers as well. So my only thing with that is that, and like I say, if we were lighter in number 9, or if we were lighter on that right wing, I'd be well up for a Jared Bowen, because I think he looks great, and I think we do need that kind of experienced player in our attack as well. But for me, you're sacrificing going out for an actual left-sided attacking player who will upgrade that side, which I think we desperately need, in order to add another player to the pot of 2 positions that we are already very well stocked in. I love him as a player, fair. And I 100% agree with what you're saying about, like, I don't think he's washed. I think anyone that gets him gets a player there. Do you know what I mean? Almost guaranteed 10, 20 GA a season in the Premier League for 3 seasons is unbelievable.
I'm surprised he's not gone to a top 6 club sooner. Yeah. And some people are saying, big fish, small pond type thing. But
do you know where he should go? Sunderland, mate.
Oh,
Europa League, Sunderland. That's where he should go.
He'd cook.
Is it Europa or Conference?
Caveat then.
Yeah, go
on. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think they got Europa.
I think
didn't Brighton get Conference?
Maybe, yeah.
One of the 2.
Jared Bowen, Europa League, Sunderland. Love that. But go on,
I'll take that. Okay, cool. So 2 things. If we're going purely for left wing to replace, I like the idea of Rafael Leao if he's available. Doesn't have Prem experience. People keep telling me he's awful and he's lazy and he doesn't work, but I just think he is just massively better than Garnacho and Jamie Gittins. The thing 100%. Is, if you have a player like Leao, you compensate for that. Yeah. Hazard didn't even train, didn't tie his shoelaces up, but you give him the ball on a Saturday, you score 2. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was that good. Yeah. Or just to go back on your Jared Bowen thing, if we're keeping Jackson, we use him on the left. He's an upgrade, and then there you go.
Fair.
You've got an extra space. Yeah, you have Jackson on the left and the rotation on the right. 20 minutes to go. Taking off a Palmer who's blowing. You bring on Jared Bowen.
I think in that situation, you need to sell Pedro Neto as well, because otherwise we've just got too many.
I just don't see anyone paying 60 million for him, and I don't see Chelsea dropping their valuation.
Do you not think?
Personally, no. I think they want to lose money on him. They'll want to make book money. I don't know what that would be now. I'm not an accountant, but
yeah, was it not 50 mil we paid for him, or was it
paid 60 million for Pedro Neto?
60 mil for Pedro Neto.
That's what I'm saying. So you want to offload him, and people go, hang on a minute. The one thing I will say about Pedro Neto, I think he gets a lot of. I think he's overhated. He's very frustrating to watch, and that I totally agree with. He frustrates he's a frustrating player, especially when he stops attacks. But when we bought him, right, he was considered an injury-prone player at Wolves.
Yeah, 100%.
And since being at Chelsea, he's been Mr. Reliable. He's been so readily avaveable. And yes, he still had injuries here and there, but
the one
overall,
overall, like really,
fair
really
play to him in that
available.
sense.
And
it's just a shame that
he
stops attacks all the time.
He did things like Delap at centre forward when Nicholas Jackson was injured for all that time as well. I mean, he didn't complain, he didn't moan, and he did a reasonably good job as well.
His work rate's phenomenal, especially really defensively. The reason I wouldn't out and out get rid of Neto is for one reason only, and that's to one of my fantasies, is if Xabi Alonso plays a 3-back, I'd like to see Pedro Neto as a right wing-back.
See,
we could have a Victor Moses sort of season.
I don't think an inverted wing-back is a good idea, personally. And I think so, and you don't see it very often for a start. Do you know what I mean? It's like true. It's not very common to see inverted wing backs. The main issue I get with it though is what you want to see from your right wing back is crosses, and if he's going up there, he has to turn around. Do you know what I mean?
True. Yeah, that's very true.
Do you know what I mean?
He does it enough anyway. He loves a cross. Good going on aim at.
But when you're a winger, you've got a guy behind you. Do you know what I mean? You've got your right back or whatever, but when you're a right wing back, like you've got, I don't know. It's just I think there's probably a reason you don't see a huge amount of invert. And I'm not saying never. For instance, left wing back, I could see that working really well. Do you know what I mean? Because he's got the pace, he can defend, he's good at putting a cross in, he can cut in still. I could see him working really well on the left as a left wing back if he's willing to be converted, which is the other thing as well, right? That's 100% the other thing.
True.
But we'll settle on Jared Bowen for Alejandro Garnacho, and you can just have your 6 left-footed attackers in your squad.
Yeah, man. We're all going to go in circles. Do you know what I mean? We're all just left-footed attackers.
Wicked. So let's do a full recap of your 5 ins and 5 outs. So start with the outs. You want to see the back of Liam Delap, and you would like to see Jackson come in and take that spot back permanently, which I do agree with personally. I know there's a lot of guys in my comments that aren't a fan of him, but I just think it makes sense for the money, which is nothing at the end of the day. Then it was Wesley Fofana, who you would like to replace with Ousmane Diomande of Sporting Lisbon.
Not Dembele. I apologise.
Not Dembele.
Diomande.
Not Dembele, Diomande. Then the third one was, I don't know if it's the third one, but it was Benoît Badiashile, and you like the look of Lacroix from Crystal Palace. There is, what was it? What was the other one?
You can do this.
Well, we'll just do Garnacho, because Garnacho we just talked about for Jared Bowen. And the last one, it was Marc Cucurella for Lewis Hall.
Bingo. I applaud your memory.
Yeah, thanks very much, man. It's tough. I should be writing these down as we go easier. Make it.
I've got it on my phone here, so that's the only reason I know. Do you know what I mean?
So, I like all of your outs. I think the thing is though, I've done one of these with Kai and Mason from Behind the Dugouts and Blues and Stripes. I'm done one with you now. I'm going to try and do some more with some Chelsea creators. I've got a feeling that a lot of the out list is going to be similar. I feel like Liam Delap, Garnacho, one of Benoît Badiashile, Tosin, Disaster. Do you know what I mean? It's like we've all got the same out list, haven't we?
Can I just run through my whole out list so people know? Because there's obviously ones that I haven't said today, right?
Bonus content, people. Bonus
there
content.
There you go. And there is more I could add to this. This was just I wrote down while we're doing this video. So Badiashile, Garnacho, Disassi, the guy needs to leave.
Yeah, for sure.
Gusto, Fofana, Neto as like I can see him going, could see him stay. Tosin, how is that guy still here? Cucurella, don't want him to go, but we spoke about him in the video. Delap and Jorgensen.
Yeah, okay. I guess the thing with Jorgensen, it's like we've kind of already got the replacement, I guess, haven't we?
Mike Penders comes in. Jorgensen wanted to go in December. We didn't have time to replace him. We didn't want to recall Penders. So just offload him now. Let him go do his thing. Thanks for your pretend goalkeeping for a bit. See you later.
Gusto's a really interesting one.
Done.
I personally think that he's not going anywhere, regardless of I've not been enjoying watching him for a while. The reason that I don't think he's going anywhere is because if we do play a 3 at the back, Reece James is not playing right wing back.
Yeah,
we'd need to go and buy another right wing back, and if we sold Gusto, we'd need to buy 2.
My only concern with Gusto as a right back or an inside 10 or as a winger is he can't do any of it good.
Yeah, I mean,
he gets caught out defensively. He can't make a decision in the final third.
No, that's true. 100%.
He can't pass the ball.
No, absolutely not.
The one thing I will give him, and I genuinely think he's probably top 5 in the world at, is his sliding tackles. They are inch perfect. But that's not enough to be like, oh, he's a great wing back because his slides are great. I just think he's more. I don't think it works.
No, I agree, man. I agree. And this is the difficult thing about these lists at the moment. Like, if we knew what formation we were going to play, for instance, if we knew that we're going to go in with 3 at the back, then the left wing conversation all of a sudden becomes null and void. But if we are going to play 4 at the back, then it's a case of, right, 1 number 10 and, do you know what I mean, and a left winger. But if it's the 3 at the back, then it's 2 number 10s. And then all of a sudden we're talking about wing backs and more centre backs and stuff. So it is a really difficult one at the moment, and it's kind of what's making this initial part of the window so interesting, because it's like that first signing,
it's the unknown, isn't it?
Might tell us. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if he gets a right wing back, at the end of the day, if the first signing is a centre back, it's like, yeah, whatever, it still could be both. But if we get a left winger, it's like, 4 at the back. If we get a right wing back or a right back, it's like, maybe 3 at the back. So yeah, that's definitely an interesting.
I'm hoping we go back to a 4-4-2. That's what I want. 4-4-2, mate.
Diamond or flat.
Don't care. Just 2 up front. Back to the old days, mate.
Honestly, mate, I could talk about this for hours, but it's like one of the interesting things about the permutations of keeping the likes of Jackson and having a mega around is you could, so say we're at the 3 at the back, right? You got João Pedro up top, and you've got let's say Nicholas Jackson up top, João Pedro in the left half space, and Cole Palmer on the right. Cole Palmer can drift into the middle. João Pedro can push up, and then you've got 2 all of a sudden. Do you know what I mean? It's like Omega can do something similar with drifting wide, and so many fluid permutations.
I know, it's why it's so exciting. The one thing I'm hoping that we don't see next season is Quenda as a fullback.
Yeah.
It's my only thing. I'm like, please don't.
If we play 3 at the back, that's probably what we are going to see. But what I will say about that is, if in Xabi's Leverkusen, Grimaldo got 12 goals and 14 assists as a left wing back in that season. Jeremy Frimpong got 14 goals and 10 assists. If we do the 3 at the back, Quenda might be ideal for that role because he's a creator and he can score goals. And Xabi Alonso really likes they're winger backs. They're not wing backs. Like, it's not Xabi Alonso's version of a wing back is more bringing wingers back rather than pushing fullbacks up. Gotcha. A Quenda could maybe play that left side really, really well. I also think the same about Pedro Neto. You look at Jeremy Frimpong, he's not a right back. Do you know what I mean? And that's one of the reasons he struggled at Liverpool, because he's asked to be a defender, and it's like a guy's like scored 14 goals and got 10 assists for Bayer Leverkusen in the title-winning season. Like, get me in front of the goal.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And Grimaldo was always a really attacking fullback as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, really, really, really interesting. I'm sure we will babble about this. We've got a whole summer. We're not going to see any signings happen probably for another couple of weeks at least, so we can come back and do this again. Jay, thanks very much for joining me for this episode of In and Out. Really appreciate having you on. Do you have any last words for the fans about Chelsea or your channel? Got anything cool coming up, or like just sign us off, bro?
In all honesty, I want to say sorry because I waffle, and I know that's something that is noticed by the community. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. I really enjoy our chats, and congratulations. Everything's growing so fast. This community is so wholesome. I really like it. It's so good to see. And yeah, let's just have some fun in the summer. Let's have some fun in the summer.
Yeah, mate, let's do it. Nice one. So, guys, thank you very much for sticking around to the end of the video. If you did, that will be linking Jay's channel, Talking Chelsea, in the description, and it'll also be collab, so you'll be able to just click the little profile icon and you'll be able to subscribe to his channel if you haven't already. But let's be completely honest, if you're here, then you've probably already seen him. Nice one, guys. Thank you all very much for sticking around until the end. If you did, we will catch up with you very, very soon. Take it easy. Peace.